You see it? Look at the back tire and look at the front tire. Got a bit of a sag, and it's not even loaded up with a lot of stuff yet. There's no water, there's no clothes, there's no food. All that's out of it, and it's got a sag. Let's go check, see how much. Let's see here. All right. 33. Let you see that. Let's go see what the front is. Over 35. We got over what? Inch and a half-ish? Over an inch? A little over an inch. It's not even loaded. And it's got a lot of sway in it. Well, here we are with the project. We got one side done. Look at the difference in those bump stops. The Sumo spring and the factory bump stop. Look at that. Anyway, we got it in. The super spring is in. The Sumo spring is in right there. Look at that. All in. One side down, one to go. Isn't that right? Well, it's the next day. I'm going to make some adjustments. I got the rotary tool out. But, I'll show you. Okay. See, this is rubbing here. That's wrong. It was popping and you could feel it and hear it. So we got to shift everything that way. And I just buzzed off this little rubber plastic piece smooth, so once we shift it this way, this roller will roll over that nice and easy. Because look, there was a, let's see if I can see it there, that plastic piece sticking out. See, it sticks out. I just buzzed it smooth right there. There's another thing I want to adjust. On the Sumo spring. See up top, that black piece touching it? There's bolt holes. There's 3 bolt holes on that Sumo spring. So I'm just gonna unbolt it, shift it that way, so that black piece that's holding the super spring on won't touch it. Because if you go over bumps and stuff, it's going to go up and down and damage it. So I'm just going to shift it over 1 notch on the Sumo spring and fix that. So that's what we're doing this morning. There we go. That looks much better. Much more in proportion. Alright, let's do our measuring. Everything's done. look at that. 35 1/4. It was about what the front was in the beginning, the first time. The back was at 33 between. Oh yeah, look at that. We're about even now. All right, because before the back was at 33 between a 1/2 and 3/4. All right, now we got our space back there. We got our space between those two right there. The Sumo spring is not touching the Superspring anymore. And we got that gap now. Before those two were touching. And there was damage on the Sumo spring. I'll tell you what, it was a booger. That Sumo spring, we had to drill out the holes on it to get it to fit. The middle one has a slot, and the two on the ends don't. So we had to drill them out to get it to fit. Yep. Smooth that off. Smooth this off right here. So when if this rolls forward, it won't hit it. So and look at that. Got a gap. I didn't have that gap before. It was all the way down. Woohoo! Yeah, buddy. We gained about 1.5 inches. There's the front. Oh, that tape is just, we marked where it was before we moved it. It can stay there. It'll just fall off anyway. The other side's done too. Get all my weight back in it. Everything's back in it. Look, there's a, where are we at? There's the gap. Got the gap between the spring holder and the Superspring. There's the front. Oh, good. This Sumo spring's moved over. Hey, I've got a nice gap there. Now I went with both of these options because my van's heavy already, and it gets heavier when I load it out for a trip. So the Super Springs, the ones on the leaf springs, these, is for constant heavy loads. And then the Sumo springs are for occasional loads. Well, I have both, so I went with both. And so I gained what, 1.5 inches in height in the back, which I'm happy about. Got that sag gone. Woohoo! All right. I still get some sway coming over the bump, but it's not as bad. But yeah, project done. This project cost me about $800. That includes buying a 3-ton jack stands, the 12-ton, or excuse me, 6-ton jack stands, and the Sumo springs and the Super Springs. The Super Spring was $475, and the Sumo springs were like $275. So about $800, which is less than I was expecting. I was expecting thousands, but hey, I'm happy. Job done. Bye. Well, this is an update after going on a overnight trip with the new suspension in. It worked really good. I got my it's like it's got space to move now, and it feels really smooth, smoother than it did, and it's really good. And if your springs are down, you don't have that gap down there on your bottom spring, it's something to seriously think about doing for your vehicle. All right, that's it for this.